Hey, everybody, Jem Schofield of the C47, and welcome to this special episode, which has been, I would say, a long time coming. I am, for the first time in 3 years, 3 years doing an in person, hands on, production based workshop. So the last time I did one was in October of 2019. In and around the same show, my workshop will be this October, which is NAB New York. And it's happening as a field workshop right before the show starts. So Sunday, October 16th, 2022. And the workshop will, as I say in the description, which you can take a look at, not be a rehash of the previous workshop that I did 3 years ago. A lot has changed. So, for me, this little thing showed up in winter into spring 2020 and changed everything in my life and pretty much everybody else's lives worldwide. And I went from getting on airplanes 2, 3 times a month to being anchored here for the duration. Now that's changed, thankfully. I'm out on location doing productions again, and I have spent the better part of the last 2 years doing remote production. So, a lot of the stuff that I have inside of this space, I will be talking about going over and making a part of this small to no crew production workshop, which is really focused on corporate, in house, and remote production. The greatest hits will be there in terms of lighting and tips and tricks related to small to no crew production, but it's definitely an evolved workshop when it comes to the things that I'm going to be covering. The cameras are important, but they are nowhere near as important as learning the core tech that you need to know, and also, most importantly, the craft of video production and filmmaking. So, the idea is in this 9 to 5 session that we're going to be covering a lot of ground. It is a production based workshop. So, don't think you're going to be sitting in front of keynote slides or PowerPoint slides for 3 or 4 hours of the workshop. This is equipment based, it's about setups, um, it's about lighting, it's about camera, it's about really small to no crew production. So, what I've done is in the description below is a link to the full workshop overview, which will take you over to the Post Production World Conference website. And this is being produced in conjunction with Future Media Concepts, FMC, and NAB, which I do a lot of, or did do a lot of my workshops with. And it's going to be taking place off-site. So this is not at a convention center. These workshops are what they call field workshops, and we have a pretty fantastic space for this, which is in Chelsea. So previously, when we did the last workshop and the other, I believe, two before that, we were in another cool space, but that's no longer available. But you can take a look here at some of the different behind the scenes shots of the last workshop that we did 3 years ago. So we will have talent there. We have 25 spots. Again, it's on Sunday, October 16th. And I am super excited about doing this workshop. This is one of my favorite things to do, is to go in and teach craft and do that hands-on and help people figure out how they can up their game in terms of what they're doing production-wise. So for me, I fly in on the 14th to that city that I grew up in from the left coast. I spend all day Saturday setting up with a couple of people for the workshop in this, again, pretty amazing space I think we found. And, renting a studio space in New York is not inexpensive when you're doing these types of workshops, but it's a well equipped studio. We also have some great sponsors in terms of equipment when it comes to lighting and things like that. We have Mac Group sponsoring it with some of their brands, Lens Rentals, Fujifilm, and Westcott. So some pretty great brands there in terms of the equipment that we'll have. But again, it's not about the equipment. It's about how do you use these tools to capture great images. So I'm super excited. It's about 2.5 weeks away from this date. So again, Sunday, October 16th in New York City, in Chelsea, at Straub Collaborative, I think it's called, or Collective. And it's this big studio space. And again, capped at 25 people for the workshop. And I'm just super excited to be doing this again. And if you are interested in the workshop, look in the description. So, just to give you a couple of guidelines, NAB New York's website is not the most intuitive thing. So, what I'm doing is sending you to FMC's website for the description of the workshop. Inside of the description here for this episode is a direct link to give you 20% off of the workshop. So use that link to have the code applied directly. If you do go the route of going to the NAB website for registration, which is where you're going to go anyway with that pre-populated coupon or discount code. But if you go and you do this manually, in the description is also the code you can copy and paste into there to save 20%. Lunch will be provided. It's going to be a working lunch, meaning we're going from 9 to 5. It doesn't mean you're not going to get a few minutes to eat, but it's not a walking lunch. Nobody's going to leave the location. So I'm basically going straight through for the whole day. I'll probably spend 10 minutes having a bite, but looking forward to some of you showing up to this thing and doing this in person. And if you have any questions, just go ahead and email me directly at contact@thec47.com. You can also go to c47.com and fill out the contact form there. And again, Sunday, October 16th, 2022, in Chelsea, New York, as part of NAB New York, co-produced by Future Media Concepts and NAB. I'm the instructor. I'll have my buddy Dan Fakos there, who will be helping me with the workshop. I'm excited, and I hope to see some of you there in about 2.5 weeks. Take care.